I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the announcement of the Taskmaster Live Experience because this was something that I think a lot of people were excited for and I think a lot of people have been let down by as well, which is such a shame. I wasn't initially sure if I was going to talk about this until it was something that I could go to and kind of like do a review of, but I wanted to talk about it because I've seen a lot of people feel like frustrated about it and feel like let down. So yeah, that's why I'm making this video. Just a bit of background for like the lead up to this. So they were teasing this idea of a live Taskmaster experience for quite a while. And they said, if we get 100,000 sign-ups to our newsletter, then it will make it a thing. And obviously I signed up because that sounded really exciting. There wasn't any information about what the live experience would be. So a lot of people were just kind of like blindly signing up because it sounded really exciting. I did see some people calling it like a marketing scheme to basically get people to sign up to their newsletter, but I was optimistic that they would follow through with that, and if they did get enough then they would make the live experience happen. But I do feel like they would have made it happen like regardless. I think it was something that they were already planning, but this was just a fun way to get people feel like they were participating in kind of like the creation of this event, and it also led them to setting up the ballot, which I do think was a smart idea even though people were let down by the ballot. So it was recently announced a couple of weeks ago that there would be a live event that would run from like September through to January, and it would take place in London. Again, nothing really specific about what the event was. But they also said that because of how many people signed up, which is 250,000 people, that they would be holding a ticket ballot where you'd be registered to have a chance to purchase a ticket. I do think some people thought that they were winning tickets, which was not the case. You just won the chance to purchase a ticket. And I have seen some people say that, again, this is just another marketing thing where everybody won a ticket, but it gave that idea of like scarcity and you'd like impulsively buy it because if you didn't buy it now then you wouldn't get a ticket. However, I am proof that not everybody wins the ballot. I was unsuccessful both times, so yeah, I didn't win the ballot at all because I'm very unlucky with that sort of thing, it seems. So yeah, I didn't get access. I can put the emails up to show that it wasn't just a ploy to get people to buy the tickets. Genuinely, some people did not get that chance to buy tickets. However, I do think that if I did win the chance to buy tickets, I don't think I would have bought tickets. And there are a few reasons for this, and I think my thoughts about this event parallel to a lot of other people's thoughts of the event as well. And I think they have made some mistakes in the marketing of this event and what information they gave to people prior to them winning the chance to buy tickets. So first of all, I do feel like they should have been clearer as to what the event was and also how much it cost, because a lot of people were quite surprised by what they were signing up for and how much it would be. So looking at the previous emails, there was no mention of the price until the announcement of the general sale, which was after the 2 ballot draws. In the email, it says tickets start from £50 for adults and £40 for children. So people won the chance to buy tickets and then saw the price, and they were only given 2 days to buy tickets, and this led to a lot of disappointment for some people who couldn't afford it or couldn't afford it at the time of buying those tickets. And also the tickets aren't just £50, they start from £50 and go up to £100 on the weekends, so people might have been able to go on a weekday only if they booked time off work. So there's a lot of like reasonings for people, and they only had 2 days to kind of sort stuff out, so a lot of people ended up not buying tickets, and I wouldn't have paid £100 for that, and I could only have attended on the weekends as well. And then there's the added cost of people who are further away, of having to pay for transport and accommodation if needed. So it is just a very expensive experience, and I 100% understand how expensive events are to run, but I do think it is very expensive for a 1 hour experience. People also felt a bit misled by what the event was. So I personally had no idea what it could be, but when they announced it, all they said was a live experience. So to me, my first kind of impressions would be that it would be like one big like giant Taskmaster recording almost. So I was imagining it like in a big stadium or something where you had Greg and Alex there, and maybe some comedians and then people from the audience could participate in tasks, or there were tasks that everybody could do like from their seats, or you did like beforehand before going into the venue, and then the winners got to go on stage. That was what I had in my head, which I don't know if that's the same for everybody else, but when they said live experience, I was thinking like a live audience rather than what is essentially an escape room experience. I know obviously there'll be tasks, because they have said there'll be like 4 tasks, and then 5 people out of your group will then get the experience to do a live task. I don't know who's judging that, I guess just some people who work there. But yeah, a lot of people thought that Greg and Alex would be there, and I thought if it was kind of this big live event that I was thinking, then yeah, they probably would be. But obviously this is not a one-day thing, it's something that runs for a few months. So obviously Greg and Alex aren't going to be there because A, that's a lot of time for them to be there. It'd be very expensive to have them there the whole time. And also from like a safety perspective, I don't think it would work having them there either. I don't know, maybe Alex might surprise somebody or surprise a group at one point. I do think that they should have been clearer when the tickets were first announced, like the ballot, the first one was announced, because then people might not have been felt so let down that it wasn't this one big live experience. I think calling it a live experience is just the wrong wording to use, because it's not like it's just not what people would associate as being a live experience, as in you just book a group and you go and do some tasks in what sounds like I said, like escape room. That's just what everyone is kind of drawing comparisons to. It's like you go into a room and you do some tasks and you win. Like that's essentially how a live escape room works, and I wouldn't describe them as being a live experience. There has been said that there'll be like recordings of Greg and Alex like giving you the tasks, so I think that would be very fun, and I do think it would be very fun, but I just think it was not what people were expecting. So when if they won a ticket, they got in, they saw it wasn't what they were expecting, and then it was potentially up to £100 to do. One thing that immediately put me off was the fact that you can't do it just with your group of friends. So each group has to have 14 people in. So say if I signed up with 3 people, so the 4 of us, we'd be paired with 10 random people that we've never known, which I think is good, but you could get really unlucky and have people that you just don't get on with, and if you have to work with them on certain tasks, I don't know if it's like you do tasks individually or you have to do things as a group, or just, I don't know, like not everybody I think would be good sports about it. There's always going to be people that aren't, and I think that potentially having to do it with like 10 other, like 13 people, like if I went by myself, doing 13 strangers I don't know, I just personally, not my sort of thing. I prefer it to be like kind of closed off to my own friend or family group. That's me personally. I know some people might really enjoy that idea. A lot of people also thought it would take place in like the actual Taskmaster house, mainly because they keep talking about this Taskmaster garden. And of course, if you say Taskmaster garden, people are going to assume it is the actual garden where the Taskmaster house is. But it doesn't take place there. It takes place in Canada Water in London, and it's kind of like a constructed room thing with a garden outside. And they have talked about having a museum, and there's like actual props, like Linda the cow will be there, and there'll be lots of like bits from like Taskmaster House. So yeah, again, people felt misled because it did say Taskmaster Garden. They should have been a lot clearer about this throughout. I think it's just the main thing I'm just focusing on. It's just that I think nobody knew what they were signing up to and had ideas in their head, and it was just not what people thought it would be. And yeah, I completely understand why people feel let down by it. Like I feel a little bit let down, but I didn't have a chance to buy tickets anyway, so and I think this idea of them not being clear is carried forward. So basically you pick a type of category to do like what experience you want, and they're very vague. They don't really give any like inclination of what is actually going to happen. So the 2 experiences that you can choose from are Absolute Casserole or Melon Buffet, which are great names for the experiences. So the Absolute Casserole is described as you'll be sure to recognise classic elements of the ridiculous show as you compete in this absolute casserole of an experience. And the next one is the melon buffet one. So thinking, throwing, ducks, wires, balls, boxes, cunning, luck, moustaches. These are all things that may or may not be served up in the melon buffet. That doesn't give any context or any clues as to what's going to happen. Like, you could swap the names of those things round and it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Like, they could have said, these tasks will be more skill-based. These tasks will be more creative-based, because that then would have given people a better idea of what might be there. People are just kind of going into something and not knowing what they're paying for, and they're paying a lot of money to do it. Like, if you have a group of 4 of you and you want to go on the weekend, that's £400. That's just ridiculously expensive. And it's not money that people can just throw at like a 1 hour experience. It's very expensive, and I feel like I personally want to know a bit more about what I'd be paying £100 for. I am sure this would be a very, very fun experience, and I'm sure they've put a lot of hard work into it, and it's something that they're very passionate about. And I think everybody who goes is going to have a great time. But I just feel like they could have just done a lot better with the lead up to this, with the just information that they give. Like, they had an FAQ section and I went through everything there. They obviously know what event they're doing. They've got so much information there about like accessibility and like rules that they have, like not allowed to take your phones in, things like that. But they're not telling people what's going to happen. The descriptions just could be a lot more informative, and I definitely feel like they should have given more information before people won the chance to buy tickets. I do think, however, that the ballot is a good idea, even though I didn't win, and if it was something that I was very much looking forward to, like if it was something that I was I thought was very good, then I would be very disappointed, but I'm not that disappointed, especially because like there is a general sale gonna happen. I think this video will be out after that general sale has taken place. But yeah, I do think the ballot was a good idea. I think it's something that it's just like a pre-sale for fans, and it's something that concerts do and things. So that is a good thing. But yeah, just everything else, just not the way I would have marketed it. However, one thing I will say is that the Taskmaster Garden that they have made is free to enter, and I don't think you need to like book ahead or anything like that. The garden and this little museum that they've created is free to go to, and I will probably go to that because it still gives you a little bit of a Taskmaster experience. You get to see some props, you get to kind of just see what they've done, but without having to pay a lot of money, which I do think some people are ignoring. That is a really good thing that they've done. They have given people a free thing to do if they can't afford to go to the live experience that they have. And I do think that is a really great thing. And I think that we are very lucky to have something free that we could go to. And yeah, like I said, that is probably something I will go to because it does sound really good. And I'm very intrigued to see what kind of props they'd have. So that is one very, very big positive to come from all of this. And as I said, I'm sure the experience is very, very fun. And I'm sure everybody who has paid for tickets will have a really, really good time. I do think one of the reasons why people have had a negative reaction to this is because they have felt a bit like Taskmaster, the people marketing behind it, aren't being very clear or being a bit misleading with how they word things. So the most recent example of this is they announced this Taskmaster class, and in all the promo things for it, they were describing it as like a behind the scenes look, talking about like how tasks are made, and it's not, it's a clip show, which is fine. I think every comedy show has a clip show. I don't know how relevant it is now that we have all the clips on YouTube, like they already have like compilation clips, but there's nothing wrong with a clip show, but marketing it as being something different is misleading. And I think people had that experience, then were looking forward to perhaps a one-day live experience that Greg and Alex would be there, and it wasn't what people were imagining. And then the whole thing was like, calling it Taskmaster Garden, but it's not the Taskmaster Garden, it's a different Taskmaster Garden that they have made. I know people will say, well, you should have been realistic, it's not going to take place in the real Taskmaster house. But that wasn't the information people were given. And I don't think this is like a big drama thing, but I've just seen people talk about it, and you know, I was excited for it. I was planning on going and doing a review, but I don't think I will be, but I will go to the Taskmaster Garden. That's just basically what's been going on, and I thought I would do a video on it. I don't really like doing negative videos, especially about something that I really like, but I did want to talk about it because I do like the experiences like that you can go to for like TV shows and stuff. Like I've gone to the ghost things a few times, and there's been negatives to that in terms of like how they've run certain aspects, but they're always a really good experience, and this was not what I was expecting. And yeah, I do think that there are other things that maybe you could go to like one of the charity football matches where you'll actually see some comedians and like Alex would be there, or something, because they have done similar things before where like I remember Paul Williams went to one thing and they've done little things like that. So personally, I'd still like my experience to be going to an actual taping. But again, I haven't been lucky with that either. With it being either not getting tickets or it just falling at a time that I cannot go to, so I don't apply for tickets. So let me know what you guys think. Are you really excited for it? Have you booked tickets? Or are you like a lot of people that I've seen online talking about it and have felt quite let down? Let me know. I'm really interested to see what people think, and I'm really interested to see about what the actual experience would be. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really helps the channel, and subscribe if you see more videos to do with Taskmaster. I'll have some more out for you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!